Here's our intro to SAT Quick Tip number 2, designed to support you with the writing and language test and also the essay. Our goals for this quick tip are, number 1, to be able to read to identify wordiness and redundancy errors, and also to write to avoid wordiness and redundancy errors. It's going to help us if we define wordiness and redundancy. Basically, it's using too many words to make your point. Wordiness is when a commonly understood term is defined or an explanation becomes lengthy, and redundancy is when an idea is repeated. So why are we trying to avoid wordiness and redundancy? Well, it's not used in academic writing. In academic writing, we have rules and it's very formal. Wordiness and redundancy is how we talk and we don't pick up on it, and that's okay because it's less formal. But on the SAT writing and language test, you're asked to look for errors, such as wordiness and redundancy, and you look for those errors in order to improve sentences. Also on the SAT essay, you are writing for readers of academic essays, and you're going to need excellent conventions of writing. And you want to make your writing easy to understand. After all, that's the goal with writing. Here's an example taken from the College Board. It comes from one of their practice tests, and we'll come back to this later in the lesson. Let's read it. The pattern box observed in 2012 may repeat itself again with harmful effects on the Arctic ecosystem. Your choices are A, no change, B, itself, comma, C, itself, comma, with damage and D, itself, possibly. Now, listening to that, you might not hear an error right away, but hopefully after we get through a couple of easier or different examples, you'll be able to read to identify the error. So let's move on to a couple of easier examples. Here's a somewhat common example of wordiness and redundancy. We can use a calculator to solve math problems as long as we show our work on a separate sheet of lined binder paper. So I've identified the examples of wordiness and redundancy in green and blue. So if we look, we see calculator to solve math problems. Now, calculator does solve math problems, so we're defining a commonly understood term. And also, separate sheet of binder paper there in blue are expressing the same idea. So we could fix it by eliminating some words here. And if it's fixed, it can read as, we can use a calculator as long as we show our work on a separate sheet of paper. Here's another example. Sometimes, every now and then, I contemplate and think about studying abroad in a foreign country. So in the different colors, I've identified the problems. Sometimes and every now and then, those mean the same thing. Contemplate and think mean the same thing. And abroad in a foreign country, that's defining a commonly understood term like abroad. So if we fix it, it could read, sometimes I think about studying abroad. Here's that example from the College Board that we looked at earlier. And the sentence we're dealing with is, the pattern box observed in 2012 may repeat itself again with harmful effects on the Arctic ecosystem. We still have those same 4 choices. Now let's look at each choice and why 1 is the best and 3 are not so good. Choice A would be no change. And I've highlighted in red the areas of redundancy. So repeat and again mean the same thing. And if you choose choice A, you're choosing to keep the redundancy in the sentence. So we would not choose choice A. Choice B is correct with just itself, because choice B gets rid of again. So now we just have repeat. We don't have that issue with redundancy. And if we read the sentence, it's clear and free of any wordiness and redundancy. The pattern box observed in 2012 may repeat itself with harmful effects on the Arctic ecosystem. Now, if this were test A, you would stop there. You found the correct answer choice as far as you can tell. But what I would recommend doing is on test A to take a quick look at the remaining choices to make sure you haven't missed something. Since this is not test A and we're doing this to learn, let's take a look at choice C. The pattern box observed in 2012 may repeat itself with damage with harmful effects on the Arctic ecosystem. Now, clearly there's some redundancy here. Damage and harmful effect mean the same thing, so choice C is not a good choice. Choice D itself, possibly. Again, we've got the word may already in our sentence. Introducing possibly keeps the issue with wordiness and redundancy, so we don't want choice D. Here's our last example from the College Board. It reads, response to the advertisement was overwhelming, even tremendous, and Harvey soon replaced the male servers at his restaurants with women. You can see our choices there. And now let's go through and find the correct one. So choice A would be no change. And it's in red because this is not the one you want to choose. Overwhelming and even tremendous mean the same thing, so we have an issue with redundancy. Choice B is the winner. And it gets rid of that even tremendous piece, so we have no more redundancy. The rest of the sentence is clear and concise, and it reads, response to the advertisement was overwhelming, and Harvey soon replaced the male servers at his restaurants with women. Now again, test day, you would do just a quick look at the remaining choices to make sure you haven't missed anything, but because we're learning, let's take a look at C and D. C is incorrect. It reads, we would just be adding, overwhelming, even tremendous, was the response to the advertisement. Now, all this one has done is just rearrange the words in the sentence, and we've kept both overwhelming and tremendous, so we still have that redundancy. D, again, rearranges words, and we still have overwhelming and tremendous, so this would not be the correct choice. Again, your correct choice was B. If you'd like some more practice or some more resources, here are 4 places to go. The first is the College Board, and they've got some obviously excellent practice tests and sample questions. What's great about that is they give you detailed explanations on the answers. You can also go to my blog, Test Prep Spot. I've got a blog post on avoiding wordiness and redundancy. The third thing there is I also have a book on the SAT writing and language test. There are 13 different lessons on grammar and conventions of writing. Finally, I have an online course on writing the SAT essay, and that's over at Udemy. So let's end this quick tip with 2 quotes from Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States. The first is, the most valuable of all talents is that of never using 2 words when one will do. So that's fitting for our topic today. The next quote is, I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. I love this quote because it highlights the idea that hard work is often mistaken as luck. And really, it's the hard work that's been the preparation for any opportunities and success you have. Let's think about that. That hard work, that's been the preparation, which is mistaken as luck, for the opportunities and success that come your way. So I want to encourage you to keep working hard.